Sante and Knowles, what have you seen from those two, and how ready are they to contribute?
Kevin Asante, his effort is improving. His technique, his fundamentals are improving. He's getting his confidence back from not playing a whole lot last year and making some plays out there in the scrimmage on this past Saturday, and today he made some plays. So he's coming along. Dimitri knows, fast kid. He's improving, being more physical in the run game. So that's going to allow the pass game to get open, and he's a guy who can run by you, and he's doing that out there. He's made some big plays. He made one today, and he also made one in the previous scrimmage for a touchdown. So these guys are coming along. I
know I asked you about Knowles, and was it just speed? How do you toughen somebody up in spring as a coach? What do you do to get that out of him?
You just find ways to motivate him. You find ways to put him in a position where he has to be, where he has no choice. And he's a competitive kid, so if he's not being physical, then you call him out. You show him ways that he needs to improve and the things that he needs to get better at. He knows that that's one of the things. And hey, this is his last year, so that's self-made, motivating in his own right.
What have you seen from Joel Caleb since the switch?
Joe's coming along tremendously. He's still learning the position. Again, wide receiver is a physical position here at Virginia Tech, and he's a physical guy, so that part of it he's got down pat. He's just trying to learn the offense and the pass game part of it.
You have some time, obviously, before you're playing a real game, but where are you right now in terms of how many receivers do you feel good about if you had to put them in a game? How deep do you go right now?
About 8 or 9 right now, and you hope to get it to 10 or 10 to 11, and just you want all those guys to feel like they have a role, and you really want them to have a role, and they'll get out there with some confidence and practice, and those kind of things carry over to the game.
I know blocking was a major emphasis. Have you seen progress on that front this spring?
I think we have, and I think that attributed to some of the bigger runs in the previous scrimmage. Guys were blocking their butts off downfield, and we hope to continue to build on that.
How much fun was that scrimmage for you as the receivers coach when you're hitting all those big passes?
It was great. It was great just to see guys make plays and build more confidence. Just to have something to build off of was huge for us.
Are you seeing any more from guys like Dion or Bradshaw? We talked a little bit about them 2 weeks ago, but are they progressing anymore?
Both of those guys are a little banged up right now, but they are progressing. As many reps as they can get is the better. The experience is coming along for those guys, just putting them out there in situations in practice so you can feel better about putting them in the game.
What's Bradshaw's injury right now?
It's not really, it's just banged up on his legs, a little banged up right now, but he's fighting through it. He played about 45 plays today, so he's fighting through it.
And Dion, same question.
Dion, just a hamstring, but he's coming along.
Challenge in coaching Bucky when you guys are using him so many different ways?
Well, first of all, I think the one challenge is early in the spring when we have to challenge him and understand that there's a lot that encompasses him being in a lot of different spots, and he has to take ownership of that responsibility. Watching more film on his own, reading the notes off of the film, because a play could be run and he's playing outside, but he's got to come back and be aware of what the other position tight end may have been doing on that same play. He may not have run it in practice that day, but he may run it in a scrimmage or in another situation. So he has to learn through his actions, but he also has to learn a little bit just visually, seeing what the tight end may be doing on that same play. So he's got to do it. He has to take the ownership of it and the responsibility of understanding that the more places he's playing, he's got to see every play from a lot of different positions, not just the actual position he happens to be in at that particular time. I don't know if I explained that well, but I think that's a challenge for him to have to be able to do that, because he can't rep at 3. He may line up in all 3 spots, but he can't rep them all at the same time. And so he has to be really good and diligent about when we're watching film and making sure he's understanding every spot that he may align himself in.
Does it help the fact that he was at quarterback? I know it wasn't a long time, but did he learn more about the whole offense from that experience at all?
No, I don't think that's really, at this point in time, is not a tremendous benefit, because, as you guys know, when you're redshirted as a quarterback, you're playing somebody else's offense, and you're running an offense off of a card, per se. So you're learning a little bit in some individual meetings, but that's been so far removed now. I don't know if that's a benefit. It was early on because I think he understood the coverages a little bit, and that's helped a lot. That still carries over.
Is this a unique circumstance with him that you're asking him to do this much in so many different roles? I don't recall too many instances where you guys have done that with tight ends in the past.
I think if you think about the guy like Greg Boone, back when we had Andre Smith and Greg Boone, we played them in some extended positions. We could line up in tight oriented, natural, or what we think is the more common tight end positions, but we also would spread Andre out. We would especially spread Greg Boone out a little bit in some space out there. But to this magnitude, no, not even close.
How has Bucky handled it so far?
He's handled it well because it's exciting to him. I think it keeps him motivated to continue to learn and to continue to be a viable part. But it's not an easy venture. Do not sit here, and he understands that. And sometimes we have to understand that it's not. Whatever routes run from 2 yards from the line of scrimmage is completely different 5 yards, or from an outside receiver's perspective. The coverage changed, the leverage has changed. And as if you watch this practice, you see Bucky at times working more with the receivers per se, as opposed to group work with the tight ends, because he's just got to get, the more he can get acclimated to the different types of leverages that he gets outside as opposed to inside the hashes or whatever, I think benefits him. He made a lot of plays. He had an outstanding year last year, but there's some plays that he left on the field too. I think we talked one time last year that there's a play early in the year and he came back against Duke and ran it precise. We talked about it was the quality of the rep, and we just want to get him more accustomed to that and more comfortable, more natural, and to be able to recognize things and play faster. There's times out there where they got to play exceptionally fast, and they also got to know when they can balance out with some patience to set up routes. And you only do it by doing it over and over again. And it's a fine line sometimes. When do I try to win with speed and athletic ability? When do I got to try to set up a route and use some patience to be able to get myself open? And that's where you got to transfer it over to your mind sometimes.
It's going pretty good. I'm glad to finally be here. It's very intense. Weightlifting practices, everything's just very intense. It's faster. It's just a whole different ball game.
So you're a fullback?
Yeah.
Is that what you expected coming in here? Is that where you?
Yeah, that's what I knew I was going to be when I came in here. We talked about it back when I was in high school.
Is that an adjustment at all? I know you're a guy who's used to getting the ball a lot as a tailback, or at least were in high school, and probably not get the ball as much as a fullback here as you would then.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an adjustment, but I played a little bit of fullback in high school, so it's not that big of an adjustment, but it's a little bit of adjustment.
You've also been working some at tailback, though. You had a long carry in the scrimmage the other day. So does that make you feel better knowing that you can get the ball, even though you're technically a fullback, you're still going to be able to get the ball?
Yeah, that feels really good. Still get the ball a little bit. But the fullbacks get the ball some too, because they've been pass plays and stuff like that. So.
What has Sam Rogers been able to help you with since you've been here?
He's been helping me out a lot. He's been helping out studying my playbook. He's been helping me out with blocking. He's been helping me, teaching me technique to catch. Just helping me out a lot.
Can you tell he missed
to it? We weren't getting a lot of sacks, a lot of pressure, so that was definitely helping.
Even for you, I mean, I think maybe it's taking you a little time to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how confident do you feel in what you've been able to do?
Well, definitely I feel way more confident than I did last year this time. I felt like Nijman right now, he's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? But, we're working with him, and I feel like I'm kind of there. He's actually way better than I was last year, and, he's a lot tougher than I was. So, I mean, I feel like he's got a great future, and, I feel like it's so much different now looking at the way that I'm playing against our defense and everything than it was last year. So, I mean, it's definitely progressed a lot.
Coach Searles talked about how he needs you and Augie to be leaders this year for new offensive line. How have you embodied that so far?
Just being leaders. Augie's a little bit more vocal than I am. I'm one of the more guys like, if you mess up or something like that, I'll be like, hey, let's go. I'm kind of getting you here. I won't be like yelling at you across the offensive line or something like that. Not saying Augie does or anything, but you know, it's just like I'm a little less vocal than Augie, so he's always yelling at me like, "Lead, be a better leader." And, you know, I've never been a vocal leader, but definitely I feel like we're trying to create a mentality that it's putting people on the ground, you know, just a roughneck mentality, and you know, hopefully we'll get that too.
You talking about Nijeman, though? I mean, what about him is impressive? Or what have you thought has been so good about him even since he switched up?
It's the most amazing thing. He will be laid off the ball, not take a set, and still block the guy. And I'm like, he would have sacked the quarterback, and I would have been like, what? No, but it's absolutely impressive how fast and quick. And I mean, the first day he had better hands than I did by the end of spring ball. It was his second day. Or first day, I mean, regardless, he has those instincts, and I feel that he's going to be a heck of an offensive lineman.
Stacey Searles has been really high on Eric Gallo this spring. What are you seeing from him as the guy who plays right next to him?
He's a good leader. He's always telling us down and distance, which to me is the biggest thing, because I mean, I want to know how far we got to go, how hard I got to push, all these things. And you know, he's good at telling us what's going on. He's smart. You know, I mean, I feel like him and David, it's not a real drop off. You know, he knows the plays, he knows what to do, and everything like that. So, I mean, heck, I'm high on Eric Gallo too.
You guys, you seem more physical as a group this year.
Yeah.
Is that coming from more time in the strength and conditioning department, or just more time with Stacey Searles and embracing his mentality, or what?
Embracing his mentality. Last year, you know, not saying Virginia Tech hasn't had that mentality. Obviously, we have, but you know, we kind of got away from it where like we got to go around or lose ground to gain ground, where he's get in their faces, put them on the ground as fast as possible. So I mean, it's a little bit of a difference, and you know, I feel like it's definitely gonna help our running game this year.
That probably fits your style a little better.
Yeah, I like hitting people, so
yeah,
I like
we
that.
noticed.